And the first conversation we have on today's Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is being brought to us by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work and taking pride in what you build, in practicing every detail to get the best results, but no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier at Epicor. The All-Stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices, from small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global visions. We'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. As the clock ticks down, you need to make the most out of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier finds the lane. Discover your success at easierwithepicor.com. That is easierwithepicor.com. Bull, it is Game 5 tonight between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. 7 p.m. TNT. The Cavs season is on the line. I know you weren't here yesterday when we discussed the atrocity that was Game 4, but let's try and put that behind us, look ahead.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Of course.
Okay. Watching that first half on Sunday, when I was a kid watching college basketball, and St. John's would be on TV. And remember, when I was a kid, St. John's was a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. Chris Mullin, Mark Jackson, Bill Wennington, Walter Berry, Shelton, like all these great players. And the first month of the season, they would play all these little rinky-dink schools, like the Manhattan College.
Bluffton's.
Yeah, it would be a lot of New York schools. You play all these rinky-dink, like barely Division I schools.
Right.
And the final score would be like 90-27. That's what it was like watching that first half. That's what it was like. So now we move forward. And yes, we said, I know a lot of people said, well, you know, they've come back down 3-1 before. No, they haven't come back down 3-1. LeBron and Kyrie came back down 3-1.
Let's get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Right now I have zero faith in this team. Could they win tonight? Sure. Here's what I think is going to happen, G. You tell me what you think. I think they're going to play a decent game tonight. I think they're going to win. They're going to tease us into believing they could come back, and then they're going to lay another egg in Indiana on Thursday and lose. That's how I see it. Please, hope I'm wrong.
I think they'll win. I think they'll win tonight's game, and I don't want to make it seem like that's an easy task.
No, it's not.
Because Indiana's come out back and beat them twice on starting the series off. Twice, you lose home court advantage that quickly. But I do believe that in this game they'll come out and win this game. The game that they need to win, and the hardest game to win, is the closeout game, Game 6 in Indianapolis. Even when you go back traditionally, you look at what the Cavs had to do. We talk about LeBron and Kyrie.
Yeah.
It took them both getting 40 points on the road.
Yeah.
In Oakland in order to beat the Golden State Warriors. Both of them had 40.
Yeah.
And they're going to need that type of game to beat the Pacers on whatever game they play, Game 6 when they come back, if they win this game. But I don't know if they got that capability of doing that. I don't know. You got Donovan Mitchell. He's hobbled. I heard I was listening to Baskin and Phelps on the way to work, and Phelps was like, hey, maybe Donovan sits and lets them try to figure this one out, and then comes back and say, bro, this ain't that type of ball game.
If he can physically, if there's any chance he can play, he's going to be out there. That guy.
He is at shoot-around this morning taking shots.
Yeah.
If you want to take time he's out there.
If he can't play, it's because he can't move.
Yeah, listen, they know what type of time it is, and I don't want to say this.
Yeah.
But look, it's sometimes I was just sitting there thinking about certain things, and I was thinking to myself, when you're younger, I don't know if this is the case. Like when you're Darius Garland or when you're Evan Mobley, and for this, those are the next two guys we look to step up. Like, are they too young to realize that there's an opportunity? Like,
I don't think so.
Are they too young?
They shouldn't be.
Are they too young to realize that you look around and you watch TV and you say, hey guys, if somehow we could pull this series out, the only guys that's standing in our way between going to the NBA Finals is the New York Knicks and the hobbled Celtics team at this point. How much are they thinking like, man, this is a perfect opportunity for us, not to say we're skating nowhere or we're sliding through undetected, but this is a great opportunity to play teams that we've been better than all year. We can get a game at home. Next game's gonna be tough, but if we can get that game, we got to feel really good about home court advantage, and that is why we played this hard to get the best record in the league. I think they'll get this game. I think they'll play hard. I just don't know how much it's going to really affect them in Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, with on paper they probably should lose this game. I don't know, because with Donovan banged up, it's hard to have any faith in this team. They feel spineless,
a little bit
soft, and they've been so out hustled and manhandled in this series, Mike.
We are going to learn more about the makeup of this Cavs team in the first 6 minutes of tonight's game than I think we could say we've learned in the 2.95 years that this group's been together. I'm serious. If this team comes out and folds tonight, then anyone over the last 3 years that says this team's soft, no mental fortitude, no backbone, you know what? You're going to be 100% right.
And what I've been saying for 2 years, that the regular season doesn't matter, is once again proven.
You know what?
Hold on, let me finish this point. All that stuff, maybe 60 minutes isn't the exact mark, but by the end of tonight's game, we may not have a definitive answer that they are tough and they are mentally strong enough and they have a backbone and they have the balls needed to win at the high. We may not have a yes, but we certainly can get a no. And we certainly will know early on in this game if they're going to come out and roll over like they did in Game 4, which in my opinion was an inexcusable effort in a crucial, basically must-win playoff game. Game 4 in a 2-1 series is typically a game where both teams know the stakes. It's either going back 2-2 or you're going down 3-1, where historically speaking, only 5% of teams have ever come back from that deficit. 13 teams in the history of the league have done it out of 280 chances. Not a high percentage.
Yeah.
And you come out and you lay a dud, an inexcusable dud. If that doesn't bring out your best effort from the start at home in Game 5, then everyone over the last 3 years who said soft, fragile, weak, can't win the big one, you will get your validation tonight.
Yeah, and nobody wants that. We don't want, and nobody wants to be proven right that the Cavs are soft. I mean, unless you're not a Cavs fan.
That's the worst nightmare, man, because next year they go 82-0. Nobody
It won't matter.
Nobody will care.
It won't matter.
There's no way. I know, again, there's always a percentage of the fan base that likes to just enjoy the games as we go, and whether it leads to a championship, they're going to the game or they're watching the game, they want to be entertained that day. But how can I get enthused about the Cavaliers? Like, we thought Kenny Atkins, that the problem was only the coach. And this, if they lose tonight, that's worse than anything that happened the last 2 years.
Yes.
Because to me, the way that I look at it with the aprons and all of this other good stuff, and the way it's so difficult to retool your team, it puts them in a situation where they're just hoping and wishing that Evan Mobley because to me, everybody else is at their ceiling.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, as great as he is, you know where he peaks, and the only reason he's peaking is because of his size. Like
it's a high peak, but
it's he's peaked.
Right.
He's great.
Yeah.
Jarrett Allen has peaked. You're never
100%.
getting. He's 100. He peaked 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's not going to give you any more.
No.
You can't ask him to turn it on and be a mean guy overnight.
Yeah.
That's all. That season from Jarrett, by the way, which is a good season. That's all you can ask for from a fourth option. Like, G, you're right. And when you talk about the age of these guys, we keep talking about this Cavs team being a super young team. They're not as young as I think a lot of people think they are. I'm going to read some of the core guys' ages.
Yeah.
They're not old by any means. Do not misconstrue old.
I'm misconstruing
with
right
young.
now.
But Jarrett Allen's 27 years old. Darius is 25. DeAndre Hunter's 27. Donovan's 28. Evan's 23. That's by far the youngest, or not by far, but the youngest of the core. But this is fourth year in the league.
Yeah.
And this is Darius's sixth year in the league, I believe, fifth or sixth year. And Jarrett Allen's been around for 7-8 years. Donovan entering his it'll be his ninth season next year.
Yeah.
Like, these guys aren't newbies to the spotlight.
Yeah.
They haven't had that deep playoff run yet, but it's not like this is a guy in their second or third year still trying to figure out the league. These guys all kind of understand what it takes to be at that high level, even if they haven't reached it yet.
How much did you guys talk yesterday about the Hunter push and Mathurin getting kicked out? Did you really talk about it? Or
we talked about how the fact it didn't inspire, spark anything in here.
And it was a huge break for the Cavs. Like, Mathurin started the whole thing, so I actually think the refs got it right, but they got lucky because Hunter overreacted. Like you can't lose your cool like that. But whatever. Mathurin's one of their good players. He got kicked out of the game.
He's the leading bench scorer in the NBA playoffs.
Right. And they still when that happened, I'm like, all right, Cavs are going to go on a run. Nothing.
We have been asking, and I'm curious what you think on this. I don't think I asked you the specific question yesterday. You specifically, and both too, have been asking, like, one of these Cavs guys got to fight back.
Yeah.
Like, someone's got to show some fight. And Hunter did.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of what we had been waiting for.
And then nothing came of it.
And if it did anything, it inspired Indiana.
Yeah, it did.
I don't think – I was kind of getting at this like on a previous point. Yeah. They are who they are.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
It ain't like – some psychologists and people talk about how a person is fully developed in terms of their personality and the core tendencies of who they are by the age between 11 and 13.
Yeah.
So you could try to reform people after that, and you try to, unless something catastrophic happens in your life where it's like, oh, let me wake up. You are who you are. Let's just be honest with you. Jarrett Allen is not fighting nobody.
Nope.
Ever.
Nope.
Darius Garland, I have never even seen Darius Garland argue with nobody.
Nope.
Most likely he's laughing and just enjoying time. Evan Mobley, I don't even see him speak. It's captions under. It's closed captions for hearing impaired when Evan Mobley is playing. He don't even talk to people. Sam Merrill, he's smacking people in the mouth?
Nope.
Donovan
Mitchell's their only tough guy.
Dean Wade is a tough guy. Isaac Okoro, I would let marry one of my aunts. He doesn't want to be with none of them. They don't look like,
Yeah.
But I let Isaac Okoro is a great young man. Who in your enforcer can't be a 6'2" Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, no.
So no, they're never going to do anything ever.
Yeah.
Jalen Tyson is nice. Max Strus is fiery. He gets into it.
Yeah.
But like you said, one of the things we looked at, you know who used to be their enforcer? George Niang.
By the way,
Niang was that guy for him. He's no longer here.
Speaking of which, there was a play, I think it was in the third quarter. I don't know if you guys, because at this point, your eyes are probably glazing over, so who knows if anybody paid attention. But I happen to notice.
Halftime was painful.
Oh.
I couldn't even watch them.
I already know what play you're thinking of, and it was game 3.
No. You're not going to play with it. Sam Merrill.
Oh, never mind. Different play.
Was going to the basket, and he got destroyed. I didn't remember who hit him. Somebody hit him, fouled him, then threw him on the ground, and Sam Merrill and the other guy fell to the ground on the Pacers. I can't remember who it was. And then when the Pacers guy got up first, he kind of like pushed Merrill, like kind of just, I don't know, like kneed him or pushed him. Merrill did nothing. Nobody else did anything. Like the Pacers used him like a rag doll.
And the Pacers ain't tough. Like, this is a crazy part.
They look tough in this series. They're not a tough team.
That's the hard part for me. No disrespect to any Pacers people out there. Let me just keep it real.
They deserve all credit. They've been kicking ass.
They've been kicking our tail. But when you look at their roster, they're not going. If they beat the Cavs, they're not. They have a 2% chance of winning.
I don't know. They beat the Knicks last year. I wouldn't count them out.
Beat the Knicks.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you this. The reason why they don't is the Knicks are able to refer to more goonish tendencies than they are.
That's true.
If they're gonna let you play this type of game, the Pacers, all they realized was, hey, they're gonna let us get this off.
Yeah.
They're not really. The Knicks are not. Josh Hart is not going. Anunoby is not letting you. Jalen Brunson, all of them. They are not going to let you get. You think they're
tough? Yeah.
You think they're going to let them come in the Garden, game 1 and 2, and put? No. Stop. Now listen, on some basketball, if they just want to outduel them, but that's my problem with the Cavs. It's not like the Cavs don't have ball players. But the problem is, honestly, and I've been saying it from the get-go. This season, people said it was about Mobley. I said it was about Garland. I said it was about Garland. He's been in the league 6 years. He's a max player. Again, we are in the playoffs. Last year, people say it was the broken jaw. It was the broken jaw. He lost a lot of weight, all this good stuff. He was going through some stuff. All right, this year, first round, it's the toe. I know he's going through a lot of pain, this, that, and the third. Bro, you a max dude.
Let's go.
And Donovan Mitchell was hurt. We can't have you having 13 or 12 or don't know where you're at. Like, those are the type of guys that you got to step up and you got to play well. Like, and right now, I I would rather trust at this point Evan Mobley more than I would trust Darius Garland. Because Evan Mobley, I think, is less hurt.
Yeah.
And at least Evan Mobley shows a little more fight than what I see normally out of Garland. I don't know.
Honestly, outside of Mitchell, the only guy I can't really say anything that's been disappointing is Max Strus.
That's it.
Strus been awesome.
That's it.
Mobley's been okay. I mean, he's been fine, but not like he hasn't raised his game in the playoffs.
Nah.
Darius has been a disappointment. Ty Jerome's cost himself millions of dollars.
Can we see Mobley's numbers?
And the rest of the bench is done. That's the difference, guys. We talked about this big advantage of the bench. The Pacers bench has been a million times better than the Cavs bench. Right now they're deeper because, obviously the Cavs dealt with some injuries. But the Pacers, they're just getting good, consistent play from everybody that goes in there. Everybody's playing solid basketball for them.
This is something Jason and I were talking about off air yesterday. The Cavs' superpower all season have been their depth.
Yeah.
And we talked going into the series how Indiana's bench was far superior than Miami's.
Yeah.
And even though I thought it was close, I still gave the edge to Cleveland.
It's not been close, right? It's not been close. Indiana's been a million times better.
That may not even be putting it in good enough context because Ty's been in complete MIA.
Yeah.
With Mobley and with Garland being hurt, Sam Merrill's had to kind of find his way in the starting lineup, and he's been kind of what you expect, nothing special, but he's done a relative job filling in that spot. You got nothing from Okoro. You got nothing from Dean Wade.
Yeah.
And those are your 4 bench guys.
Yeah, no.
And when Sam Merrill, who's filling in and giving you – he's not giving you anything, but you're also not expecting a ton from him when he fills in there.
Yeah.
If that's the best you're getting from your bench, you're getting nothing. And they're getting Mathurin, who's been awesome in this series. Obi Toppin has been awesome in this series. T.J. McConnell has been awesome in this series. Ben Shepherd making shots from the corner. He's been up and down. Thomas Bryant's been the best backup big in this series.
Yeah.
And Thomas Bryant stinks.
He's terrible.
He looks like a mess, that guy.
That's his whole career, by the way.
Yeah.
He was a 5-star kid, ton of talent, just could never seem to put it together.
He just looks like.
But whoever they put in there
has
contributes.
played well. Yeah,
everybody. There's nobody having a bad series for Indiana.
And every one of them people that's coming in off the Patriots bench got an attitude.
Yeah,
like somebody stole something from them.
Yes,
like, we come try. You know what? Now that I say it, maybe that should have been on us. The record really blinds you to a lot of different things. Like next year, there shouldn't be anybody. I don't care how great it looks. There should be nobody championing Dean Wade and Okoro. Those guys have been unplayable in 3 straight playoff series.
Yeah.
And we've seen it against multiple teams. It ain't like it's the same teams. Orlando, y'all look terrible.
Knicks.
Boston, Knicks, you look horrible in this series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's just one team that was and that's the thing with the Cavs. We are so interested in saying, well, it's just a bad matchup. Well, it can't be a bad matchup against all the best teams in the East.
Gee, you're more talented. It's not a bad matchup. The Cavs are more talented.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
Top to bottom. They have the 2 best players in the series if everyone's healthy. Mitchell and Mobley is better than anyone
no doubt.
individually on Indiana.
By the way, you think about this, and obviously there's still games to win, and we don't want this to happen, but we could be looking at a Final Four in the NBA of Minnesota, who's never won a championship, Oklahoma City, who's never won a championship, the Knicks, who haven't won in over 50 years, and
Indiana.
The Pacers, who have never won a championship.
It'd be crazy. G, to your regular season thing, your regular season success, I got a stat for you. Then we'll move on, talk some Browns. We'll get back when Tyvus is back in, talk a little about Donovan's injury. But in the history of the NBA, history of the league, 16 teams have won 64 regular season games and had an average margin of victory of at least 9 points that season. OKC and Cleveland are 2 of those 16. So take them out of, I'm going to give you the number of 14. Of those 14 teams prior who won at least 64 regular seasons with an average margin of victory of at least 9 points, 13 made the finals.
Who's the only one that didn't?
The Spurs in 15-16, who lost to the Thunder, and that was the same in the semifinals.
Yeah.
That was the same year the Warriors won 73 regular season games. They didn't even finish. They were 67-15, didn't finish first in their conference.
I remember that
6
year.
games back. But
So this Cavs team might be the most fraudulent team in the history of the NBA.
Yep.
well, if they lose, they will have lost in the same round the Spurs team did. To
Historically
the Thunder in
flawed.
Didn't they have a big injury too? That team.
That was the Kawhi Zaza year. Yeah.
Yep.
But my point is, regular season success does not necessarily translate to postseason success. We've talked about that at length. The way the Cavs dominated the regular season, historically speaking, from that perspective, was a shoo-in for what the Cavs should have gone to at least a step above where they had been. And if they lose in the Eastern Conference semifinals, especially if they lose 4-1, losing 3 games at home, it would be one of the most disappointing flameouts in NBA history.
In sports
and I
history.
refuse to have anyone tell me anything else. Injuries played a factor, sure. But they were all healthy in Game 4, and they got boat raced.
Let's
Down
face
by
it.
41 at halftime with everyone healthy.
In Game 1, they were missing Garland. Obviously, Game 2, they had a lot of guys hurt. Games 3 and 4,
They
they've
should
had
have won
everybody.
Game 2 with those guys hurt as well. It
What's
took
that?
an epic collapse in Game 2.
That's right.
Even without those guys.
I don't want to hear. Listen, they've been outplayed in this series.
Period.
Bottom line. That's
Period.
it.
And the people that are saying there's injuries, you guys are idiots. Listen. You guys are the ones that Bull describes as just want to go to the game. If you want to go to the game, that's just fine. Just say, listen, I'm a casual. Listen, I'm going to support my team regardless. But if you call yourself a hardcore sportsman, you know it's part of the game. Steph Curry is not playing right now. Listen, Jason Tatum is out right now. Guys are injured. Like, this part of the game.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday missed a bunch of the first round. This is part of the game. When you use injuries as we were injured, you sound ridiculous. The Cavs have been outplayed. Even more ridiculous was, they were gassed that second game. How are you gassed and you don't play all year? This the bench guys playing.
Again, I don't want to hear about injuries because in Game 1 it was just Darius. They're good enough. They won 64 games. Obviously, Darius is important. They should have been able to win that game without Darius.
Should have.
Game 2, everybody's out, but they blew a huge lead.
They was up 20-something.
So I don't want to hear about injuries there either. Game 3, and you can't talk about injuries in Game 4 because those same guys played in Game 3 and won. So I don't want to hear that they're injured again in Game 4 when they were perfectly fine in Game 3.
Exactly.
I understand they're dealing with injuries. They're not 100%. How many players are 100% in the NBA right now?
Nobody.
0.
Yeah, I mean, give me a
Tyrese
break.
Halliburton's dealing with a hand injury, too.
The Pacers have been the better team. They have kicked their ass, and we'll see what happens tonight.